Hey guys, it's Mel. In this flow, we're going to be focused a little bit more on opening up the sides of the body. So if you have a block or block substitute that you could use, it wouldn't be the worst idea to grab it for this practice. All right, go ahead and find a comfortable place to start. So for that, you might want to come onto your back, child's pose, or you might just want to stay in your seat. And we're not here very long, so we'll make the most of it by just closing down the eyes straight away. Softening the shoulders and softening the jaw. Soften your brow. And just visualize the front of your body, your back, everything opening here with your breath. So as you take a breath in, you're really feeling that expansion across the front of the body, and as you let the breath out, it's that softness coming over the shoulders. Just finding that more directed breath, so just sending your awareness and energy to the inhale and the exhale. Just doing a few more breaths like this. And gently just opening your eyes, blinking them open. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll here. And staying in your seat, just drop your right hand down over to the side. And this is an opportunity to grab a block. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up. You just look towards that right hand, it could potentially ground. As you reach your left hand over, take a big breath in and then breath out, left hand comes down. Right hand comes up and over, leaning into it, looking over. And taking a big breath in, then bringing both hands down, interlacing them around the back now. So find a little clasp position around the small of the back, and your elbows might stay quite bent. You might even lean your hands into the back. Pulling the heart forward and up, maybe bring your gaze up. Take a big breath in here. And then exhale, just letting the arms go. Give your wrists and hands a bit of a shake, maybe a bit of rotation. And then move on to your hands and your knees when you're ready. So as you find your hands and your knees, just trying to get into that space and then move through your cat-cows. So inhale, lift the tail, drop the belly, pull the heart forward. Exhale, round the spine, press into the hands, drop the head. Following with your breath, inhale. And exhale to round. And we'll just do one more big breath in. And a big breath out. And just coming into your neutral spine now. Let's tuck the right toes into the ground and extend the left leg towards the back of the mat. Now we'll get the left foot to touch the ground. We're going to lean onto the inner edge of it and then take the right foot over to the right. Float your left arm towards the back of your mat and then all the way to the front. See if you can look around towards your right hand. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, left hand comes down. Pull your left knee in, adjust your right foot. Left foot then comes out to the side, right leg extends back, come onto the inside of that foot, reaching back and then forward. Draw the shoulders back, big breath in, and breath out, coming down. Bringing the feet back, come onto the knees again, take an inhale, lift the heart, and then roll it back, downward facing dog, exhale. Breathe into this, pedaling out, take a few breaths to find your downward facing dog. Then finding stillness, lift up onto your tippy toes, big breath in, drop your heels down to the right, bend your knees, squish towards the back of the mat. Roll back to center, inhale. Drop your heels to the left, squish to the back of the mat. Inhale, coming up, walking your feet all the way to the top now. Take your feet about hip distance, find a softness in the knees, holding on to opposite elbows and letting the arms dangle ragdoll. You can pedal your knees. You can move from side to side or just find some stillness. Take just a couple more breaths. And letting your arms come down, start to bend your knees and roll up to standing. Nice slow kind of roll up. Give your shoulders a nice big roll here. Lifting the hands, bringing them up, clasp them. Finding height, lift the fingertips. Press through the balls of the feet. Lean over to the right hand side. Then inhale, coming up. And as you exhale, leaning over to the left. Inhale, coming up, lifting up, looking at your fingers or your hands. Exhale, diving your hands to your heart. Come into your fold. Your next inhale, slide your hands up onto your legs. Find a halfway lift and just pause here, encouraging the crown of your head forward. Draw your shoulders back. Lift your navel up underneath the rib cage. Take another full breath in. Bend your knees, find a fold. When you're ready, we're going to come up to standing. We'll do that with a flat back. So push into the legs, inhale, halfway lift, and then start to continue the lift up, roll the shoulders. When you're ready, on a breath in, lift your hands. As we exhale, we're going to stay standing, little cactus arms, open your heart, and come back into that bind we did seated. So interlacing your hands around the small of your back. Now the elbows can be bent up quite high, and if that feels too much, just hands on the back. Otherwise, from here, send the hands away, lift your heart, take a breath in, and then start to hinge forward on your breath out. Now bending and softening through the knees, hands can come up, head can hang. Keep the bind, move into a halfway lift, inhale, and then bend your right knee, lean the right side of your belly on your right thigh, look to the left as you take your hands to the right. Inhale, come back into a halfway lift. Bend your left knee, look to the right, hands over to the left. Inhale, halfway lifting. Exhale, hands meet the earth. Find a halfway lift again. This time though, bring your hands either onto the ground or blocks. Send the weight into the right foot, pick your left foot up and step it back. And take the time to bring it back. Keep your left knee lifted. Walk your hands back either side of your right foot. And just kind of move up and down, forwards and back. Any kind of movements here that feel really nice for your lunge. Try to find lots of space. And then when you're ready to drop your knee, go ahead. You can untuck your back toes. I'm going to lift the hands up, take a big breath in. And then as you breathe out, let's open the arms up wide, bring them back down to the ground, hop your right hand onto the inside of your right foot. Once again using a block, and you might feel the urge to lift your hips a little higher. Press the right arm in towards the right knee, lift the left arm up and towards the front of the mat. Then bring that hand down. Take both hands either side of your front foot. Step back, downward facing dog from here. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. From here, see if you can roll forward into your plank pose. To come into your plank, you might want to drop onto your knees or adjust your feet or your hands here. Coming and holding. Now take an inhale and then drop your heels over towards the right hand side. From here, if it feels good, reach your left hand up and then towards the front of the mat. Then bring your left hand down, roll back into your plank, drop your heels over to the left, lean into it, reach your right hand up, and then maybe to the front of the mat. Right hand comes down, inhale, shift your weight a little forward, lower down, exhale. As you get to the earth, untuck your toes, lift your heart up, find cobra, and then exhale, just bring the forehead down. From here, let's find an active cobra, float the hands up, breath in, and then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back up, cobra, then tuck your toes, lift back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, float the heels up, walk your feet all the way to your hands, forward fold. Take a couple of breaths, bounce in or move in, or just be still. Then hands come to the ground. Your kind of best effort at a halfway lift of your hands grounded, so your knees might be bent here. And then sending the weight into your left foot, slow and steady, step your right foot back. Keep the right knee lifted, move into that hip, and that might involve moving your feet up and down, like really play with the movement. Bit of self-expression. Our bodies are also different, and what we like to get out of these movements is going to be different too. When you've had enough with this, dropping your back knee, You can untuck your back toes or keep them tucked to lift the hands. Exhale, bring the arms out wide, bringing them down, left hand onto the inside of the left leg. Push the knee and the tricep together, and then float your right hand back into the front of your mat. Take another full breath in. Breath out, bringing it down. Hop your hands out, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths, pedaling the feet, moving about. And then when you're ready, flit your right leg up towards the ceiling and bend the knee, open your hip. Take another full inhale. And then exhale, pull the knee forward, step the foot to the top of the mat. Let's come up into Crescent Lunge straight away. So if we want to drop the back knee, we will. Just going to find some height here. Take a full breath in, and then as you start to exhale, rotate around and find our Warrior Two. And Warrior Two, we're opening up through the hips, so we're going to push the knee out, we're going to find height, relax the shoulders, reaching forwards and back there, so really active fingers. From here, drop the back hand, lift the front hand, take a full breath in. And as you breathe out, drop your right elbow onto your right knee. Open your right palm up, open the heart up, and then reach your left hand forward. Now, if that feels too much, left hand can be on the hip. You can also just let that right hand kind of hang out, but just try to keep the space open in the side of the body. From here, if it feels okay to bring that left hand back now, wrap it around the back of your back, the small of your back, and see if you can grab hold of that right thigh or anywhere around there, the hip, wherever it feels good. And then pull the left elbow back, the left shoulder open, look over. Now, if you're okay here, if this is feeling good, stay, or maybe release the right hand and just float it on the inside of the leg, pushing the knee out. We're still feeling good and we want a little bit of a challenge. Hop the right hand forward, keep the bind, find half moon. Take a full breath in, stay with the bind. And then exhale, bend that knee, drop it back, finding Warrior Two legs once again. So the foot kind of parallel, but reaching up, inhale. And then exhale, opening up, let's find a little bind behind our backs. Interlacing the hands, inhale, dive your heart forward onto the inside of the right leg. Doesn't need to come down far. Hands come up. Take a full breath in. And then let your hands come down onto the inside as you breathe out, lifting the hips, rotating around. Right toes come inwards as we find a wide-legged forward fold. Now from here, you can just let your head drop, bending one knee at a time perhaps. And then starting to lift up, find a halfway lift. And we're just going to rotate to the back of the mat, adjusting the left foot back. And when you're ready, coming into a crescent lunge towards the back of your mat. Finding height here, take another full breath in. And lifting around, let's find Warrior Two. Roll the shoulders back and down. Find that space to bounce around, encouraging that knee out. Nice open bodies. When you're ready, drop your back hand, flip your front. Extended side angle. That left elbow comes onto the knee. Open the palm, open the heart. Reach the right hand to the ceiling, onto the hip, or maybe over to the side. Try to keep your neck long. You're welcome to stay here, or bringing that right arm around. Reaching for the front, inside, back of that left thigh. Try to open, maybe look over that back shoulder. Now stay wherever you need to stay, or float your left hand down. Little hop in of the right foot, keeping the bind. It's a bit tricky for the balance. And find half moon. Take another full breath in, bending that knee, dropping it back. Coming up, reaching the hands up. And then from here, just moving into that bind behind our back. Nearly forgot. Lift your heart. And then diving it forward, leaning onto the inside of that leg. Head hangs down. Arms come up. You can always rest on the back. Take another full breath in. And then breath out, bring your hands down. Start to now lift up and rotate around. Find that wide leg forward fold. Once again, head just hangs. Bend the knees or hang out in stillness. Now if you want a little bit more here, we're going to move into the side body by walking our hands over towards the right leg. So whether we're up high or low, doesn't really matter, but we're going to grab hold of the outside of the right leg and see if we can just pull ourselves a little closer in that direction. And then coming back to center, we'll just do it over on the left. Pulling over. And coming back to center. From here, moving into a halfway lift. And then we're just walking back to the front of our mats again, coming into that front foot, grounding the hands, stepping back, downward facing dog. Move a little, pedal your feet, move your hips. Take another full breath in, lifting up, and then take your knees out wide. Let's find child's pose. Big toes together, knees out wide, sinking down. Take another full breath here. And then slowly coming back up onto hands and knees. From here, we're going to move into our downward facing dog. And then taking the feet maybe together if that feels better, we're going to move into our side plank. So from here, rolling forward, feet can be together as we roll onto the outer edge of the right foot. Now you might find you need to adjust as you come here. Left foot on top of right, reach your left hand up. If this is feeling good, reach your left hand towards the top of the mat and maybe float your left leg up. Take a big breath in and then breath out, bring that hand down, roll onto the balls of your feet, rotate around, roll onto the outer edges, right hand comes up. Feeling good, reach it to the top of the mat, float the right leg up. Take a big breath in, bring it down, ground the right hand, lift up the hips, downward facing dog. Take another full breath in, exhale, knees out wide, child's pose. Full breath in and out. And then when you're ready, just starting to walk your hands back, we're going to come into a seat. Now, from this position, I'll turn around. You stay where you are. Bring the heels of your feet together, your knees out wide. Hold on to the fronts of your knees. Lift your heart. Take a big breath in. Then hollow out through the front of your body. Lean back, breath out. Take another full breath in and out. Inhale, coming up. From here, walk your hands towards your feet. Just coming to a nice deep forward fold. So you can hold your feet. You can slide your arms underneath your shin bones. Let's take a couple more breaths. And slowly starting to come up. From this position, we're just going to pull the right heel in and extend the left leg out to the side. And from here, we're going to do quite a few almost grounded poses. So the right hand, first of all, will start behind that right hip. It's going to extend the left arm up and sweep into Wild Thing. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, drop your hips, taking your left hand over towards your left leg. You're reaching for the toes, maybe the knee, wherever it kind of falls, maybe on the inside, and bringing the right arm up and over. So if you're holding on to your left foot, maybe you're going to bring your right arm onto there too. We'll just take one more big breath in. And whatever option works best. And then slowly coming up. From this position, we're going to now pull the left leg in. And you can keep your right leg like this, but I might give you the option to straighten it soon. We're going to hold on to the left foot, hold on to the left knee, and just give our hips a little bit of a wiggle here. So moving back and forth. Now, if you're feeling a little bit clunky in the hips today, flexing that foot, maybe just hugging it in. If you're feeling like you have a fair bit of space to move from, this is where you might take that opportunity to lengthen your right leg out to the side. It's going to be a really optional thing, whatever feels better. From here, we're going to move into our compass pose. So we're going to take hold of the left foot, grabbing the outer edge of it. So wrap your hand around the top and the outer edge of it. And then bringing your left arm underneath behind the knee. Now, typically speaking, you have to give it a little bit of a push. So lifting the leg, kind of wiggling your elbow underneath and coming onto that left hand. Maybe coming up onto the left fingertips, just assess what feels better. And then start to push the left foot out. It might just be a tiny little bit, or maybe you feel like you can keep lifting and extend out. Looking down maybe towards your left hand. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, just bringing that down. Bending the left knee, bringing the left foot onto the outside of the right knee. Hold on to your left knee with your right hand, just find a bit of a twist. And then coming back to center, hopping the left foot to the front, extending the right leg, and then pulling that left heel in. When you're ready, drop your left hand down, coming into a wild thing, point the toes, sweeping up, finding the space that feels best for you. And then bringing it back down. The right hand now comes towards your right foot. Doesn't matter if it doesn't get there. Just opening up and stretching through the left side of the body. Left hand can come up. It can be around the head. It could be on the hip. Maybe both hands are reaching for the toes. Any option that opens up through the side of the body is a good one. Hold here. A couple more breaths. And then slowly coming back up into your seat, we're moving into that compass pose. So we'll start by just hooking that right foot in, holding on to it, giving it a bit of rotation, so a bit of movement through the joint. If it's feeling good, we can always keep our hand as is, but typically speaking, bringing the left hand on top of the foot on the outer edge feels better. We're then going to take the right arm underneath that knee and press the arm in towards the leg. So we've got a bit of pressure from the arm going into the leg and resistance from the leg going into the arm, and that's what we want. Stay on the hand or the fingertips for a bit of height and start to push the foot away, which might look a bit like this. Now this one can be a little bit irritating for the neck, so just let your head do what it wants to. Don't worry about the direction your gaze is going, but just try to find space. If you want that extended version, you look to the left, but typically speaking, looking to the right will feel better for your neck. Take another full breath in, bending that knee, and just placing that foot onto the outside of the left leg. Just give your body a little twist, right hand behind the hip, left hand on the knee, rotate around. And then slowly coming back to center. Taking the feet out, this time taking them out nice and wide. So coming into a wide leg forward fold. And this is a good opportunity to either sit on a block, a blanket might just be enough, I find. And we're just trying to get a little bit of height here, that hinge from the hips, as we start to then fold forward. So that might look like a tiny little movement to you, and that is absolutely fine. What I would recommend is maybe even bringing your hands behind your hips and pushing your heart and your hips forward. If you feel like you've got plenty of space here, then the hands can come forward. Feel that tilt forward of the hips. The heart keeps coming. And if you want to really feel into it, maybe even keep your hands on your hips as you drop forward. The chest might come down to the ground, maybe the head. But for most of us, the elbows are probably about the depth that we want to go when we're really kind of moving into it. Holding here for a few breaths. And slowly start to come up. I'm going to stay in this wide-legged position, but start to bend the right knee. So what we did before with the heel and at the pelvis might be a really good option too. But if you're okay to bend the right knee, go ahead so that the right foot is grounded, the right knee is lifted, left foot is out to the side. Then we're going to turn towards that right leg, hold on to it with the left hand. Now, as you do this, you might notice that your hand needs to be lower or higher up on the knee, and you also might notice your foot needs to hop in a bit as we move into the pose. So just don't worry about that, adjust as you need, but holding onto the leg, lean towards the left-hand side and see if you can float your right hand up. And if you've got here and it's feeling pretty good, bend the elbow and bring the back of the wrist or back of the forearm around the back of the head. If you're still feeling like you could do with a little bit more, pulling on that leg, taking the right hand over to the left leg. Take another full breath. And then slowly start to come back. From here, if you need to do anything in between, go slowly, low, extend your right leg and pull the left leg in. Once again, you might want to adjust as you go. Right hand onto the left leg, moving up or down, maybe lifting the left arm up, bringing it around the back of your head, just leaning towards the right as you look to the left. And that's still feeling good, drop it right down. Couple more breaths. And slowly making your way up, adjusting, pull the feet so they come back together, knees out wide. Hold on to the fronts of the knees, find a bit of extension, and then bring it forward. Let your hands come to your feet, or just let them do whatever feels best. And just taking maybe 2, maybe 3, or as many breaths as you really like here. You might even want to hang out here for a little bit longer, because the next place we're going to find is a seated meditation. And of course, depending on your environment, that may or may not be accessible to you. But if you can, just rolling your spine up, holding onto the knees and adjusting so that you're in a comfortable seat. So that could be cross-legged, could be on your knees, it could be as you were, or sitting on anything, maybe even a chair. And then hands can just come to your knees. They can come on to the inside around your ankles. Some people like to have prayer hands or rest a hand on the heart of the belly. It really is optional. Whatever's going to allow you to anchor a bit into your space. You might need to move from side to side or give your shoulders adjustments and just play around with how to get comfortable. And then close your eyes and just come back to the rhythm of your breath. It's very simple, although extremely challenging at times. And if your environment allows it, maybe even start to count the amount of time it takes for you to inhale and exhale. And you'll find as you start to count, you automatically start to lengthen the breath. Maybe lifting a little taller. And feeling the earth below, anchoring the body. Noticing any sounds around. The feeling of air. Maybe a fan or heater. Maybe you're outside and you can feel a breeze. Maybe you can smell something, good or bad. Just let your senses have a little moment here. As we bring our attention to the space we're in, maybe we can then allow that little drift away. And anytime we start to feel a little overwhelmed here, maybe just coming back to a feeling of sensation or that connection and awareness to the breath. And just take as many breaths, spend as much time as you need here. This is where I will say farewell. I thank you for joining me. Namaste.